Probably around like 30.
Oof.
He's facing life.
Pooh Shiesty went 8 times platinum, defied the odds, did 3 years in federal prison, and came home to a world that was waiting for him. But the streets called, and one false step wrecked everything he'd built. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. The coming up, and the first fall. Lontrell Donnell Williams Jr. was born on November 8, 1999, in the city of Memphis, Tennessee. He was raised in the Cane Creek Apartments in South Memphis, a project complex in a crime-ridden slum with few ways out. That block got him up. The streets, the hustle, the loyalty tests, it all made its way into his music eventually. His parents was a huge part of the pie. Mob Boss was a Memphis underground rapper during the 90s and early 2000s. His name was Lontrell Williams Sr. He created an indie label from South Memphis called Mob Ties Records. Young Lontrell was always in the studio watching his dad cook. He learned the ins and outs of the game, how to move, before even touching a mic himself.
I keep up with music, like, from whoever it is. Like, I've been doing this my whole life, like, with listening to music.
The steady one in the photo was his mama, Gladys Baines. Some say she called him Mr. Pooh when he was a shorty. Most credit for putting Pooh together with Shiesty, Memphis slang for sly or dirty, goes to his late brother Taryn Henderson. That brother succumbed of brain cancer in February 2021, at age 27. That loss came precisely in the heart of Shiesty's run. The family hopped around in search of a better something. Shiesty spent a couple years out in Pflugerville, Texas, living with mama. Well, he went to Pflugerville High for a time. When he returned to Memphis, he finished school by taking summer classes. Those moves changed his mind, but they never got him completely off the block. He escaped into music. He and his guys established the Choppa Gang with Big 30, Choppa T, and K Shiesty in the cut. He was freestyling in the lunchroom, on the block in cyphers, anywhere he could spit. He cited Gucci Mane, Chief Keef, Kodak Black, and Lil Wayne as influences. His dad taught him how to take real anguish in real life and put it into bars. The declines really began around 2018. He gained local popularity with tracks like Breaking News with Big 30. By 2019, he had Hell Night with Big 30, Shiesty Summer, Choppa Talk, and Day One. His cousin Big Scar was coming up in the same group. Blood ties and music ran deep together. Then the breakthrough happened. Gucci Mane signed him to the new 1017 Records, a joint venture with Atlantic, in April 2020. Gucci DM'd me on Instagram to make it happen. This was the turning point. Gucci was an Atlanta trap legend, with roots deep in the South. He provided Shiesty a platform, resources, and a real cosign. They joined up on the So Icy Summer tape early on. Then the whole thing went up with Back in Blood, with Lil Durk. Dropped November 2020. The track combined Shiesty's Memphis grit with Durk's Chicago drill melody. It reached number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. It reached multi-platinum and had 100 million YouTube views really fast. That song made him a household name. But the first big legal challenge was already in the making even as the career was taking off. On October 9, 2020, an alleged drug and sneaker move was left in the parking lot of a condo complex near the Landon Hotel in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida. Court filings in federal court and a police affidavit say Shiesty and co-defendants Bobby Brown and Jaden D. Rosa arranged to meet with 2 guys. They were there to cop some cannabis, some high-end footwear, and to extend the rental on a lime green McLaren Shiesty had been pushing. He arrived in the McLaren. D. Rosa drove past in a black Mercedes-Benz Maybach. Prosecutors believe the deal quickly went bad. Shiesty and Brown reportedly drew semi-automatic guns and began dumping on the 2 victims. One guy got hit in the hip or ass. The other made a similar shot. The crew then reportedly bounced with the unpaid cannabis and footwear. They left a Louis Vuitton bag, and that bag ended up tying Shiesty to the scene. Not even a commentary team that had watched the security film could make heads or tails of it. The clip was brief and crazy.
There's a green McLaren that it's like Pooh Shiesty and some people meeting up in a parking lot, and then all of a sudden the shots start going crazy.
The clip was short and chaotic. Even folks studying it real close couldn't piece together what jumped off in them few seconds.
I read like the report of what happened, and then when I seen the video,
it didn't really add up.
It didn't really seem
and it was like a 30-second clip. I'm like, what happened that fast?
Even the guys scrutinizing it real close couldn't figure out what jumped off in them few seconds. The meat's backstory was even more convoluted. It was meant to be a normal transaction.
Okay, did you read like, you know, they were supposed to be selling them shoes and some weed?
To buy some weed and get some shoes or some shit like that. How does that turn into the shooting?
That's why some people interpret it as self-defense, not no planned lick. But what remained with everyone was the bag he left behind.
And then it was in a situation where a transaction was going down, and apparently he left a Louis Vuitton bag
with 30K.
30 bands to them was not worth a man out here mugging someone for sneakers and cannabis. Shiesty surrendered to authorities on October 13, 2020. He was first charged with state crimes including armed robbery with a handgun and aggravated violence. He bailed out for $30,000 initially, but the case went right to federal because of the interstate parts and firearms used in a heist affecting commerce. That was the first mistake. The come-up was popping and the case was building right beside it. The Bay Harbor Islands transfer was just the beginning of the legal scenario, from state accusations to a federal conspiracy. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of Florida began building a bigger case. They attempted to connect several isolated instances into one plot. While the lawsuit was brewing, another issue popped up. A shooting at the King of Diamonds strip club in Miami, Memorial Day weekend, May 30th, 2021. This was exactly as his career was taking off back in blood. According to police reports and court documents, Shiesty was inside the club when something went down. Money came out of his pant or pocket throughout the back and forth. A security guard supposedly attempted to intervene or to reach for the money as it fell. Shiesty allegedly then pulled out and shot the guard in the leg or ankle. Guy made it. The wound was nothing serious. Shiesty turned himself into Miami-Dade police on June 8, 2021. He was charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. He was jailed for a minute before being given a $10,000 bond. One of the stipulations was that he was prohibited from the King of Diamonds. This state case was operating in parallel with the federal heat piling up. But the music wasn't slowing down. His debut tape, Shiesty Season, premiered on February 5, 2021. 18 songs with Lil Durk, Lil Baby, 21 Savage, Big 30, and Gucci Mane. His breadth was on display on joints like Neighbors and Box of Churches. The tape premiered at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on top rap albums. It hit double platinum later, so the timing was real terrible, getting huge rotation and XXL rookie accolades while staring down a major situation. The irony was deafening. The rapper who began with the ski mask and street choruses was now facing genuine consequences in the Miami club scene. And there was the resolve. Shiesty appeared in a Miami federal court on January 4, 2022, and pled guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to possess guns in furtherance of acts of violence and drug trafficking. It was a plea deal that lowered his exposure. He originally faced a firearms count that carries a maximum life sentence because the weapon was fired in the 2020 incident. The plea arrangement allowed prosecutors to dismiss 3 more counts. Shiesty acknowledged in the plea that he was part of the plot 3 times. The first occurred July 7, 2020, in Memphis, when he was in a whip when someone shot a gun at a gas station. The second one was on October 9, 2020, in Bay Harbor Islands. Third was May 30, 2021, at the King of Diamonds. His attorney, Bradford Cohen, pointed out the plea kept him away from a lot worse fate. The defense said Shiesty didn't always have his finger on the trigger and described some of the incidents as mutual beefs or self-defense rather than planned licks. Sentencing was held April 20, 2022 before U.S. District Judge K. Michael Moore, Miami. Prosecutors had sought up to 97 months, just more than 8 years. But after a 2-hour hearing where Cohen pointed out mitigating facts, the judge sentenced him to 63 months, 5 years and 3 months in the feds. Those criteria included his age, 22 years old at the time, a burgeoning career, and family support. Shiesty was given credit for nearly a year he had already served in custody for good behavior. Projections at the time had him at roughly 3 to 3.5. He also received 3 years of supervised release on the back end. Emotions ran high at the hearing. Shiesty exhibited regret and claimed he wanted to lock in on his music and his family. Judge Moore said the plea offer and other circumstances played into falling below the top recommendation, but said the firearms pattern was severe. The blow to his career was immediate. Shiesty Season had already gone platinum, still moving back in blood, but the bid halted the gigs, the tours, and the fresh drops right at his peak. He was ordered to serve his sentence in federal institutions, finally landing at USP Canaan in Pennsylvania. The case also demonstrated the government playbook. Prosecutors employ conspiracy charges to attack a pattern, not one incident. That's a really regular strategy in these high-profile rap situations with firearms and narcotics mixed in. They've made an entire narrative out of disparate instances and joined it all together. In hindsight, the 2022 plea and punishment was a low and a momentary breather, and it closed the book on his early struggles. But it also laid the groundwork for his release and the much wilder allegations to come in 2026. Many in the industry dubbed it a cautionary story of how quickly the streets may derail the bag. The offer, the reflection, the second opportunity. Pooh Shiesty began his 63-month sentence following his sentencing in April 2022. He ended up serving around 3 years and was released early on October 6, 2025. He did some time before he was sentenced. He was home early for good behavior. He served part of time at USP Canaan in Waymart, Pennsylvania, a high-security facility noted for roughness. Speaking to XXL after his release, Shiesty, in a sit-down, called the bid a transition and grind. He spoke of the conflicting sensations of being back out there.
Feeling good, man. I'm feeling like, a lot of mixed feelings. Happy, same time, like excited,
He returned home with a comeback single, ready to go. He released FDO, First Day Out, and explained why it had to be the first one.
FDO, like, I had to come with this particular song because it's like the message, It fit like around a I'm back type of vibe.
I started the record locked, and I couldn't finish it until I felt that coming home feeling, he added. First day in the studio, he rapped it. The pressure was palpable, and he could feel all the eyes on him.
Say, I ain't from but shit. The whole world been waiting on this.
I can't from but shit. The whole world been waiting on it.
He talked about how the bid changed his whole outlook. He utilized the entire isolated as a place to write in without distraction. He stated he had enough material for a few CDs, and that being by himself actually helped him lock in.
Being in the hole or whatever, like, I use that as like my best type of time because I'm by myself, alone.
And he took up new behaviors behind the wall. He started working out for the first time and started reading. He said he worked on his decision-making and his temper.
A lot of good habits I picked up in there. Yeah, some I gotta tighten up some more, but, for sure, like, working out, there's one. Never worked out before, never. But working out, there's one. Read.
He talked about breaking free of the old habits. He stated he wants to change his people, his locations, his stuff. He did it like a movie he'd seen before.
Try to steer away from them same type of scenarios. It's like seeing now, like I done saw that one before. Like I done already watched that movie before.
It was his religion and his love that got him through the time. He talked of getting closer to God, seeing his prayers come through.
My relationship with God in there, it strengthened me and kept me going because like my relationship, my past relationship with him, it's like I came closer with him.
His attorney Bradford Cohen continued to stress that Shiesty had remained obedient and grown up in prison. That was a real feature of the early release. No major write-ups or incidences were reported. It had a tremendous toll on his family and his guys. His right-hand man and regular collaborator, Big 30, whose true name is Rodney Wright Jr., was candid about the emotional toll. Big 30 was at the court hearings and commented afterward about dealing with depression while Shiesty was behind up. Mob Boss and his mama held down his pops. Reunions with Big 30, Carbon, and family hit the internet when he touched home. The bid came during key career milestones. While he was locked up, Shiesty's season hit platinum and kept collecting streams. Back in Blood went 8 times platinum. Shiesty talked about that in the conversation and what it meant for where he came from.
8 so close to, this platinum, like, that ain't being done every day. Like, it's a lot of people from where we from.
He also confronted the rumors directly. There was some online talk and some former inmates doubting if he folded or had internal beef. He shot it down, claiming he stood steady and snitched on nobody. Shiesty takes direct inspiration from Gucci Mane's personal shine-up. Gucci returned home from jail fit and locked in. And Shiesty stated he got some notes from that.
The way Gucci came home and that motivated me too because I took notes from there, like how he switched it up, how he toned up.
He even gave game to Lil Durk, who was going through his own case. Shiesty said the street rep wasn't worth it.
All the image and the facades and the faking and the street notoriety, this is not worth it. Ain't nothing worth leaving this and going to there.
FDO, the comeback single, was released December 12, 2025. It debuted at number 1 on the Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs chart, his first number 1, and peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100. He also hooked up in the studio with fellow Memphis artist Gorilla. All signs indicated a good second run. The bid years were a forced stop in a tumultuous time. He came back with a new attitude, a fresh focus, and a strategy. His early liberty was hailed as a second chance, but that chance was short-lived. Dallas studio and the supposed cross. This is the bit that changed the whole story. Just months after his arrival in October 2025, the biggest scandal of his career began to take shape. It's believed that Shiesty crossed his own mentor Gucci Mane, and he's facing federal charges that might mean life. It was recorded on January 10, 2026 in a studio on Dallas Parkway in Dallas, Texas. According to the federal criminal complaint and DOJ statements, Shiesty arranged what appeared to be a normal business meeting to discuss his recording contract with Gucci's 1017 records. Here's how it allegedly went.
So Pooh Shiesty had a problem. If you don't know Pooh Shiesty, he's a rapper from Memphis, Tennessee.
According to a breakdown, the whole trouble was the contract. Shiesty wanted out. Gucci didn't want to let him go because he was making the label money.
Pooh Shiesty calls up Gucci Mane. He said, look, I don't want to be signed under you anymore. Gucci Mane said, so?
It depicts the beginning of the day as described by a reporter who covered the raid. RD, who is supposedly Gucci Mane, pulled up with 2 security at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They came to the studio for a business sit-down, or what was intended to be.
So what is alleged in the documents is that RD, who would be allegedly Gucci Mane, right? Roderick Davis. They flew in with 2 security people at 1 p.m. that same day.
When the meeting began, they went into a separate side studio. Shiesty asked Gucci to get him off the contract, and Gucci responded, nah. No, Gucci replied him.
The issue is that Pooh Shiesty allegedly wanted to be released from this contract. According to the documents by police, Pooh Shiesty asked RD, Gucci Mane, allegedly to be let out of the contract.
And Shiesty allegedly urged Big 30 to go get him a black bag. That luggage was on camera coming in. Then out came the strap.
They pull out an AK-style weapon, a black AK-style weapon, and it's pointed at Gucci Mane by Pooh Shiesty, allegedly, and Gucci Mane is then forced to sign this contract.
In the meantime, Big 30 apparently had a phone out, filming Gucci confirming the leak on camera. Then the bit regarding the date.
And then Pooh Shiesty, according to these docs, looks over to his dad allegedly and says, is this good? Like, is the paperwork good? The dad is alleged to have said, no, it needs to be dated. They then make Gucci Mane date the paperwork.
That identical dating scene with the pops verifying the contract was depicted in the breakdown video.
Pooh Shiesty looks at his dad. He said, this is going to count, right? Pooh Shiesty's father looks at it. He said, oh, no, this is not going to count. Gucci Mane forgot to date it.
The other people with Gucci were supposedly robbed at the same time. One victim was forced onto a couch and his wallet and valuables stolen, the complaint said. Another was nearly choked unconscious and relieved of a Rolex, jewelry, a Louis Vuitton bag, and cash. Shiesty himself allegedly removed Gucci's wedding ring, earrings, watch, and cash. The reporter talked about how afraid
someone says in this complaint that they thought that they were going to be executed because the way that they were all sat down in that second room.
Big 30 is accused of trapping the studio door with his body so no one could go out. That's where the kidnapping charge comes in because the victims couldn't leave. 9 defendants were charged, including Williams Jr., his father Lontrell Williams Sr., and Rodney Wright Jr., known as Big 30, and Kadarius Waters, Terrence Rogers, Deron Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, and Darian McDaniel. All 9 are charged with federal kidnapping and conspiracy to conduct kidnapping charges. Each count is punishable by up to life in prison. One exacerbating aspect was very evident. Shiesty had an ankle monitor from his Florida case and was under house confinement at the time. That was the proof of that monitor. The reporter described how he got to the site.
Now, his ankle bracelet was actually one of the evidence pieces that police are pointing to with him because they said that the location monitor on the ankle bracelet put him allegedly at that studio. Yeah.
Most of the arrests took place on April 1st and 2nd, 2026, in coordinated FBI raids in Memphis, Dallas, Nashville, and Atlanta. Shiesty got picked up in Dallas. A federal judge refused him release on April 9th, 2026, since he was considered a flight risk and a danger to the community. The writer summed it up as how odd it was for a platinum musician with such a massive fan base to reportedly place himself in that predicament shortly after arriving home.
Pooh Shiesty is a platinum selling artist who has a huge presence with the youth, right? They love him. His record outdid Mariah Carey's record at #1 for a couple of weeks. There's no reason why he should be putting himself in that predicament.
This supposed coup d'etat is the apex of Shiesty's terrible destiny. FDO back crashing in a case that may terminate the career just when the momentum was coming back. A hopeful return, road to trial, repercussions, and beef. The Dallas situation jumped over the courtroom very quickly and became a public beef, he said. The blowback focused on Gucci Mane, the man who signed him, stood with him, and brought him home. The supposed cross struck a nerve throughout the entire business. The feds confirmed that Gucci helped identify the guy who got him.
The feds confirmed that Gucci Mane, Roderick Davis, identified Pooh Shiesty as a man who robbed him.
A panel of commentators worked through what the papers revealed.
Gucci Mane identified Pooh Shiesty, pointed a gun to his head, and made him sign papers to release him from 1017 record deal. Pooh Shiesty was unhappy in his deal, but Gucci refused to release him.
Some on the panel were not completely shocked, referencing back to Gucci's history. They played an old interview where Gucci described Jeezy as the man who robbed him years ago.
Gucci done told on it before, bro, on Broad TV. He told on Jeezy. Had a Mad Links interview on BET back in the day. Man, Mad Links asked him, like, bro, who do you think had a motive to do this to you when they ran up in this spot?
But what most impressed the panel was how brave Shiesty was. They likened him to a notorious business enforcer.
What stands out to me more than Gucci snitching on Shiesty him is Pooh Shiesty. Like, you got me up. I'm getting up out this contract.
He on some Suge
Him
Knight.
and his dad. You're saying it's him and his
He niggas on some
dad.
Suge Knight tactics, bro.
They traced the suspected motive back to Big Scar, Shuristy's deceased relative, and how Gucci handled that scenario.
They say they did Gucci like that because of how Gucci treated when Big Scar died.
Yeah, yep.
You know,
and
he
Pooh
wanted to-
Shiesty was super close.
Right,
to
that was his
Scar.
cousin, bro.
Yeah.
On April 10th, 2026, Gucci Mane released the Zaytoven-produced tune Crash Dummy soon after Shuristy's arrest, and right before he was denied bond. The bars led straight to the infamous incidents. He put it in business terms, not emotional terms. He shot at Big 30. Gucci was able to take control of the narrative and reassert the fact that the contract release was signed under duress, which could make it void. A lot of people interpreted it as, it got millions of streams fast. The reaction was loud and polarizing. A lot of people came down hard on Shiesty for crossing the man who gave him his big break. Others defended him, pointing to branding battles and industry exploitation as possible causes. Some felt Gucci lost street cred by choosing the legal path. Others complimented him for going to the courts instead of the streets. The panel debated if Gucci might have done things differently and kept it to himself for his image.
But Gucci was supposed to get everybody together and give them 30,000 and say, "Hey, shut up. Don't say nothing. I'm still a
Or at least
street nigga."
him say, "Hey, I didn't see nothing."
On Shuristy's side, they also challenged the entire verdict. Why bet everything to get out of a contract when you had genuine money coming?
I don't even understand the mind frame of these YNs these days, because I ain't no way in hell I'm gonna get out, become a million.
In a second film about how strong the government's case is, things get even more serious from a legal standpoint. More important, the host said, than the real jewels was the cooperation of the witnesses.
I think he has a very tough road ahead of him to try to defend this whole situation because there's so many witnesses, and not only Gucci, the cameraman, is cooperating.
He said there were a number of persons in the room who were giving reports to law authorities. Gucci's homie from the hood already named suspects.
His friend BP identified 4 of the suspects by himself. 4 of them. With names, Instagram handles, everything.
That mountain of testimony is why the missing jewels is not that much of a concern. 3 people in the room stating the same thing. That weighs a lot.
You don't necessarily need to recover the jewelry because you have 3 people all saying y'all did it.
When they questioned how much time Shiesty could be looking at, the answer was tough.
Probably around like 30.
Oof.
He's facing life.
Yeah.
He's facing life.
In May 2026, Shiesty pled not guilty to all allegations. U.S. trial date set for July 6, 2026 District Court in Dallas before Senior U.S. District Judge David Godby, with a final pretrial conference on July 1st. All 9 accused are due to stand trial together. The outcome will define his legacy. A positive ruling could pave the way for another comeback. A conviction would cement the story of wasted potential and might kill the movement for good. Thanks for viewing. If you like this video, click on any of the boxes playing on your screen for more like this.